You're watching Echoes, Echoes, Echoes of the Past Podcast, Cast. And we're your former fundamentalist hosts. I'm Ryan.
I'm MJ. We are former cult survivors, ready to tackle the Bible from a different viewpoint.
Yeah, last week we talked about the sons of God. That was really interesting, at least for me. I like that topic.
Right. It's like, who's your daddy, right? It's like, who's Papa Dios?
Right, we discussed, could it be Yahweh? Could it be El? Still not sure. You're not the father, Maury Povich would be saying, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so we're glad that you guys are back. But before we get back, let's get the trailer rolling.
Echoes of the Past podcast was such a fitting name, right? It touches on how we like to dig into past history, but also we're uncovering our own past of sorts.
Yeah, there are ideas that were off limits before because of my spiritual upbringing.
I believe you and I are going to have a great time delving into these topics without thoughts of punishment or retribution, which always held me back.
Yeah, Echoes of the Past will not only be our safe place for discovery, but hopefully our audience will be open-minded with us and join us on these new ideas. What do you think about the name we chose?
So do you remember when King David took a census of all the fighting men in the kingdom?
1 Corinthians 11:3 should be approached carefully, understanding its biblical context, its cultural background, and the principles of love.
Well, Yahweh murdered 70,000 people as punishment.
Literally is a matter of life and death, and it's important that everyone realizes the harm that shunning practices cause.
And we're going to use my book of Bible stories.
They don't believe in women in position of power. They don't even allow them to give speeches. They don't even allow them to pray.
There's been something I've wanted to share with you all. It's all about something I was indoctrinated to believe as a child. Cruising into the new life that we're creating for ourselves.
It's like deja vu all over again.
Starting all over, MJ.
Yeah, I put the wrong trailer. I meant to put the montage, but it's all goody because it gives people time to come in.
Good morning. Yeah, it does. It gives people time to grab their little snacky snacks, their little drinky drink.
I show up as Apostate Coalition. I'm not sure if can that change? I'm not sure.
Yeah, you might be logged in as AC. Oh, you know what? Probably because you're logged in as manager, you might just have to go in and switch back to.
Oh, I'm the manager of Apostate Coalition, you guys.
Moving on up in this world.
Moving on up
to the east side.
Who's here? We have a few people here, but nobody in chat. But that's okay, because we'll do all the talking and you guys can relax. It's a nice Monday morning. Monday blues. We all know what that's like.
You sure do.
We hate it. We
Doc?
all hate it. Oh, Doc says hello. What's up?
Good morning,
man?
Doc. Thanks for joining us.
Top of the morning to you.
Did you bring any culty language with you? Today we're decoding the JDub language. It's riddled with words that invoke specific meaning to the members, but other people might just let it go over their head, not understanding.
I'm speaking to my imaginary friend.
I understood exactly what you were saying, MJ. It's okay.
Yeah, that's good.
I speak that language.
I'm using a different mic because this mic right here, it runs on battery and it died on me.
Oh.
So I gotta use this fat dildo.
Is it Bluetooth?
No, it's
Oh.
it's with XLR, but I'm not running any phantom power. It's just straight battery.
What kind of
If
battery
that
that
makes
thing
sense.
take?
I don't know if you know any um, of interface lingo, but yeah. But speaking of lingo, that's what we're here for, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's right on topic. The truth or new light. Those are high on my list. I
Perfect.
made a little list off the top of my dome piece.
Heck yeah. So I have something interesting that I literally just thought of like 5 seconds ago.
Did the God send it down to you? Was it like
Yes, I
divine?
got. Yeah, it was Holy Spirit.
Oh,
It wasn't forced neither. It was like a slap in the face. It's like, think of that.
how about this?
Let's do some rock paper scissors shoot to see who starts first.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Are we doing three, best out of three, or just the first
Um,
one
it'll
goes?
be like 3, 2, 1 on go is when we do it.
But I mean, are we
So
doing it just one time?
yes, just one
Just
time,
one.
no
Okay. Okay.
tiebreaker, nothing like best of three. No, no.
Okay.
Yeah, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoe. Wait, okay. I had paper up. I promise you, I had paper up. the the camera's not showing, so I lose, right? You
Yeah,
win, so
I
that
win.
means how are we doing it? Winner takes the mantle, or is it the loser?
Oh,
See,
how
I
about I
forgot.
get
See, I didn't come up with that rule. I didn't think of that right away. I'm
right?
sorry.
Winner
Who goes
chooses.
first, Doc? Should it be the winner or the loser?
Yeah, Doc, you tell us. We'll make you do the choosing. I won, but does that mean I get to go?
This is like improv. You
Or I
see,
should force MJ to do it?
nothing is planned, as you can see. This is all random stuff.
Hey,
Off the
what do you
dome.
expect from
Doc doesn't
quote
want to
cult
take
members?
responsibility for it. He's like, I'm just gonna laugh. He's probably bawling right now. He's not even near the mic, near the computer, or his phone.
He might be in the bathroom.
The bathroom. There you
We
go.
don't know. The winner
The
picks.
winner.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
How
You
about this?
started.
I'll go first.
Okay.
And I think what I'm going to do is define what I believe. I wrote down what I think coded language is because there could be people in the audience coming to this who have zero experience with cult type personalities and don't understand that there are words that are meant to incite a specific feeling or emotion. So let's just do
Hmm.
that first and see if we all concur or if there's any differences or something that I missed.
I like that. You be like the detective. I'll just be like speaking straight facts.
Okay. Coded language refers to ordinary words or phrases that have special meaning within a particular group. And in this case, we're discussing,
Pretty much, it is
well,
going to be
disgusting
disgusting. By the
Jehovah's
time this ends, it's going to be disgusting.
happy accident. These meanings are often unknown or misunderstood by outsiders or overlooked. And in these high control groups, like the Jehovah's Witnesses, coded language serves to create a shared identity. It helps to reinforce that identity. And what else? Oh, it gives the word a new meaning or new connotation. So that
Mm.
was my own definition that I created. Does anybody agree, disagree, think there's anything that's missing from that?
And this was, what was the word or the phrase?
Coded language. So coded
Coded.
language or phrases, they're just meant to have specific meanings within that group, but the outsiders would not understand what that verbiage means, what that phraseology means.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
as Doc said, the truth or new light. You said new light in a sentence. People might go like new light,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't incite like, oh, God sent down a message and things have to change now. We're gonna do this the whole. Everything I
Yeah.
say, I'm just gonna do this the entire time, MJ. Like,
I just
thanks,
had to do it.
guys.
Just had to do it.
Didn't know I was that funny. I appreciate you.
I was thinking I should have done it when you were like when you messed up in the beginning, but
Oh, that
that
would
probably
have
would have
been
been
good.
that would have been good. Oh,
That would
okay.
have been good. That would have been. I'm fine with that. I got y'all. I tongue tie myself all the time. I switch words
Uh,
around. My tongue goes look at look.
I just
You know
don't
it.
know how. Oops. Whoa.
God, is that you?
I have come to enlighten you.
He has risen.
I have. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm pressing buttons here. I'm sorry, guys. That was an accident. It's a touch screen, so it's like my finger just went and touched it. But anyway,
Oh,
go
you.
ahead.
So Allure Mermaid knows coded language. It's just a different kind of coded language.
00111001.
That probably means on, maybe.
I don't know. But Do you have any samples or
I do. I do have some samples.
samples?
Let me throw out one, and you tell me if you actually think that it's a coded word or not.
Okay.
Spiritual family.
Spiritual family.
Hmm.
No.
It might be one that y'all didn't think about. I don't know. Maybe y'all have thought about that word, but that word to me carries something.
Well, as ex members, yes. But to the random schmo, will it mean anything? You know what I'm
No,
saying?
right?
Costco samples. Right, because that means like someone has to be perfect. In my understanding, someone who's a spiritual family to me means that that family is amazing, perfect, right?
And and I would add to that that they're elevated.
Yes, they're at a higher status than most, top
I'm
tier.
just kidding. But
Yeah.
but right, because you're supposed to put that spiritual family above your physical or blood family. Because
Hmm.
if one of your family members becomes disfellowshipped, you're meant to elevate your spiritual family above that blood family and shun them
Hmm.
because they're not part of that spiritual family. And they've showed and proved themselves to not be friends of Jehovah's people.
Yeah, that sounds kind of like scary if you think about it, because you're basically saying they don't belong. They're not allowed. They are outsiders. They are not normal.
Right? Not normal. They're different.
Different.
Yeah.
Very different.
And that's
I
also
just reconnected with my dad's side of the family, whom I considered not normal the entire, my entire life. And it took for me to realize I was in a cult to talk to them.
wow. So you basically had to prioritize your spiritual family above your actual relatives.
Yes, I would only visit if my grandmother was sick or if something bad happened, and maybe not even. So I had to make sure my family's in good standing spiritually. We went out to preach door to door, or we studied for the next day, for the next meeting before we even consider our immediate family or
Hmm.
physical like it just the spirituality came first.
Yeah. And I think that's why, to me, it's one of those words that um, carries a heavy responsibility,
Yeah.
but other people might hear spiritual family and think, oh, what a blessing. You have a spiritual family as well.
Right.
Not realizing, like, nah, that's all you have.
Yeah, right. You
Yeah.
think no, you are not.
And
You're
it's
not
conditional.
spiritual.
It's not like you have that spiritual family and like, wow, by God, you are tied for eternity. Nope.
Mhm.
If you go off the beaten path, that's it. You're no longer part of that spiritual family.
Right.
It's very conditional.
Very, very,
Strings
very conditional.
attached. So that's
And
that's my first. That's my first.
cool. I have what I decided to do was come up. I mean, did you have more you want to present now
I
or
have tons
later?
more, but we can
Okay.
whether
Well, I
we keep
mean,
it or not. It
I'm
doesn't
bored.
matter.
I'm boring. So it's
No,
like
no, 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 you're not.
I
Stop
have
it. I love talking to you.
I have a button here that says share screen, and it leads me to my notes, of which I like to call theocratic.
Ooh, and theocratic is honestly a word that I had written down as well.
Yeah, I think I wrote that down somewhere. I don't remember where it is. But anyway, um this is obviously not we're not going to be reading all of this, so don't be scared.
Pause to read.
Yeah. By the way, you guys can actually find the majority of what I wrote in the actual website. They actually put it in their website, their terminology, like their lingo. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh,
They actually have that. I mean, if you guys want to visit that real fast, no, who cares? So, I mean, we have the obvious, JW. If you don't know what JW stands for, leave the room. JW is the abbreviation for Jehovah's Witnesses. We all know that. And then you have like the typical the organization, which is what is called as a whole. And it's funny because it's similar to how Catholics call themselves the church because of their definition or their ideology, I guess, that Catholics were the first church. Um, I mean, I've heard it all. I mean, the Bible does speak about Jesus speaking to Peter and that he's going to, you know, have his church start with him or whatever. But in the Catholics somehow interpret that as the Roman Catholics, and they trace their lineage all the way back from to Peter. It's just a whole mess. But that's what they call themselves, just similar to how the Catholics call themselves the church. We witnesses call themselves the organization.
Mm.
And obviously that's org for short. And then that's when society comes in, and the society reminds me of like the Justice League, where you just like these awesome 9 now powerful men that have
9, yep.
special abilities. I mean, Stephen Leck can stretch his face in ways that I never knew I could or anybody can. But this, I wrote here that it's just a term for a religious institution called the Jehovah's Witnesses. But I don't know, Ryan. You tell me. I know that in the Spanish community, we obviously call it la sociedad, so it's like the society.
Okay.
But it was my understanding that the society was meant for only the governing body. Like, so, for example, if there was a teaching or something that needed to be clarified, people would say, "Oh, what does the society say?" And basically meaning, what does the governing body say? I don't know. Is that something you took from the word society? Like, that's
Yeah,
what it meant?
I would not assume that it's all of us. I would only assume that it is those with authority to make decisions, changes, judgments,
Mm-hmm.
which would be those at the upper echelon. Yeah, that's what I would have taken from it.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly okay. So I wasn't the only one. Cool.
Yep.
Ooh, this moves. Okay,
Ooh.
sorry.
Oh, you fancy.
I'm trying to be able to do this while
No, it's
looking at the
honestly, yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the
comments.
butt because as you change the screen, it orients different on StreamYard. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt.
Right. And I'm trying to fit it so that I can see the comment section as well. See you guys, see you beautiful people talking.
Beautiful
Cool. I can do
people.
two things at once. Cool. By the way, I have a camera that is up to my face, so if I have a zit or something, just tell me before my wife sees me. So we have I by the way, I separated these into like what the Jehovah see, so for the first half is just what Jehovah's Witnesses say, and then it's like after that it becomes more freaking toxic and scary. But I'm not gonna go through those. I'm just gonna go through what the Jehovah's Witnesses, their lingo. I can send this information into a doc for you guys to look at in the description later, so we don't have to go through all of it and spend so much time on it because it's a lot of information. It's boring, and I know my voice can get very annoying.
No, stop it.
We have the truth, you guys. The truth.
It is the truth.
This is the truth. Like, if you're not in the truth, you're dead. You are.
Where are you? You're in the false.
It's as I wrote. JWs almost exclusively refer to their faith system as the truth. So, for
Hmm.
example, we'll be here when you decide to come back to the truth.
Yeah.
You left the truth. Please come back to the truth. Have you ever been told that, Ryan?
Oh gosh.
Come back, please come back to the truth.
I used to use the word all the time. I was in the truth. Oh, I think they have the truth. Like the truth was just everyday vocabulary for me. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until I stepped outside of that reality and deconstructed who the organization is and who the people are that run it that it was an absolute misnomer, not the truth whatsoever.
Yeah, it's the truth or
False
nothing at
reality.
all. It's like a go home or it's like what's that phrase? Go home or go hard?
Go hard or
What?
go home.
Go hard or go home? I don't know how this relates, but anyway, the truth, right? It's like um you can't handle the truth. If you can't handle the truth, then you
Right. You've got to
better.
be all about it, follow the rules, in it to
Mm-hmm.
win it, no half stepping.
Yes, exactly. Then you have Kingdom Hall. Everybody knows that when you go to your nearest castle-looking
Oh
place of
yeah,
worship, it's called
that's a
church.
word.
But for them, it's called Kingdom Hall. And why Kingdom Hall? Well, do you know why, Ryan?
That's a great question. I used to know the answer to that, but I'm going to assume it has something to do with, well, I know that they just want to be different, but besides that,
That's
something
why.
to do with everybody being welcome and it's God's kingdom message. I don't know.
That is, I'm just gonna applaud you for that because I don't, I don't even know. I just asked you because I figured you'd tell me. So
We don't have to know the answers.
we don't need to
I'm
know
glad
that.
I'm
Screw
forgetting
that.
this stuff. It is, y'all, it's a good thing to not
Yeah.
remember all this stuff.
So this is all like mainstream stuff. These one, two, three, four, five, six stuff is mainstream. This is all ish that you want to stay away from as an ex Jehovah's Witness because it's triggering. But then here is where the juice comes in. This is where everyone should really know how we categorize people and just things. So we have friends. Now, yes, friends, the friends. It's funny how they put the before friends. It's like the friends.
Yeah, it turns it into its own little phraseology. I like how you put that. It's a colloquial term.
Yeah, it's you would think that I'm gonna move on. So,
I heard this word a lot when I would want to hang out or do things with people who aren't Jehovah's Witnesses. Don't
mhm.
you want to be hanging out with the friends? Don't you like the friends?
Yeah, that's weird. And yeah, that's so true. It's like when we're gonna think about going out somewhere and we're telling our family, yeah, we're gonna go hang out with the friends. Like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so who are the friends? The friends,
The friend,
the
the
friends,
friends.
which are brothers
One
and
of
sisters.
us.
Just
One
that's
of
it. The
us.
friends are just brothers and sisters. That's freaking it.
Right. They don't even have to be actual friends. They might not even know your favorite damn color. But
No,
because they're your spiritual family, they're the friends.
right, exactly. And there's another reason why they say the friends, and it's because when you think of the word friends, you think of trustworthy people. So, like for example, I was taught growing up that say you are at a brother and sister's house and you left your wallet there. Let's say you just met them. You left your wallet there. There's assurance that they'll give you back that wallet, even if you had $1,000 in it. They'll
Hmm.
give you down. They'll give you back that wallet with every penny in it. Hence, because they're trustworthy, they're like your friend, your best friend, and so everyone as a whole is categorized as friends
Right.
because you can trust them.
There's an
But
immediate like boundary that you have to allow people to cross because they're the friends.
yeah,
You're not able to say no and protect your own interests because your interests are these people, the spiritual family.
and similar to how we were talking about the truth, we have how the truth is exclusive to only people within the organization. It's a circle of faithful
Circle of trust.
circle.
This is the circle of
Anything. So
trust.
it's like when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you live in a bubble, and anything outside of it is basically doomed. And we call, or I keep saying we, the organization would call people outside that bubble the world,
Yeah.
and then the people who are in it will be categorized, considered as worldly or worldly people. And we don't need to go more into detail on that. So then we have service, and that is essentially you're a Jehovah's Witness, you are a slave
Yep.
and everything is free labor. So, what do we call that? We call that service. That could mean you are passing mics, that's service.
Mm.
You are putting the mics together for the Watchtower study. You are giving yourself what they call speeches a talk. That's you giving service. And then that's when you go outdoor to door, then it's considered field service because you're outdoors, you're in a broader environment where you're reaching out to many people. And usually they call that street work as well. I don't know. Did you? I know we had back in the day we would like stand in front of Walmart like at 5, 6 in the morning, and that would be
Really?
considered street work. I don't know. Did you ever do that before?
No, no. I did do street work before, like we traveled and went to a city with some
Hmm.
friends,
Yeah,
and
there you go.
did street work once when I was younger, but
Yeah,
did not enjoy that whatsoever.
I know. It gets boring. I remember like that was a thing where like you would stand in front of Walmart or some popular spot, and then it'd be fine. But then like I remember them talking about how, oh, well, you don't want to do that because you'd be in trouble because you're on private property. Yet brothers would do it anyway.
Hmm.
And I used to always say, isn't that bringing reproach on God's name? Like, shouldn't we not be doing this? And then you get the brothers that just don't care and they
Right.
do it
Shouldn't you be
anyway.
following the law?
Right. Like the no trespassing signs, like what I went through, going through a no trespassing sign, even though it's there, and then see naked people in the backyard and then be embarrassed about it. Yes,
Oh,
I went through
wow.
that. Yes.
Nice.
Right? Beautiful. Yeah.
The scenery, all the
Yeah.
scenery you get to see as a JDub.
I wasn't just humiliated, I was intimidated.
Oh God.
Talking about the guy's weighing. So, moving on. We have baptism. We don't need to discuss this. We already know what baptism means. By the way, they don't baptize in the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit, or baptize in the name of Jesus Christ. They don't do either of those two things. It's just straight baptism, which is branding or initiation, as I like to
Hmm.
call it.
It is. That's a great
Yep.
way to put it.
And then this is where the feeling of you being a slave really comes into play. You have privileges. And you can only earn those privileges if you are
Yay.
a goody goody brother, goody goody
Hmm.
sister. And you can lose those privileges, even if it means you're sitting in the kingdom hall, because they actually have positions. What's it called? I forget, where you're like sitting like behind the audience and just counting and making
Oh
sure
yeah.
security or making sure nobody comes to the door. I forget what that's called.
Yeah, I can't. I know what you're talking about. They do kind of call it a specific word. I can't think of it though.
I don't know if anybody in the comment section remembers what that's called.
Yeah, what those duties are called, if you can
I
remember.
remember there's this one bald brother. He would always have one chair dedicated to him, only him, and he'd sit like right in the entranceway towards the auditorium and just sit there the entire meeting. And he'd always count. He would hand magazines to people who he sees don't have any. He would basically be a host and just greet people as they're walking in.
Is he the guy who directs you to your chair?
That
Because
same
because
guy.
you obviously couldn't.
Yep. It's like, come. And yet he just,
Like,
yeah.
bro,
Yeah.
it's not that serious. I know
It
how
is
to find a
that.
seat. Thank you.
And then he'd be the one that would like direct you to the freaking front.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's
All the,
like, yo, there are two seats back here, and he would put you directly in front, basically to tell you and to let everybody know that you freaking came late and you should be
yeah.
ashamed of yourself.
Yes.
Yep, that's basically what he did.
And they love that responsibility. They thought that so highly of themselves that it's so imperative that job and that duty be
Yep, yep.
performed in a very specific manner.
So we're gonna wrap it up soon here. I'll go pretty quick here. This is you have active JW, meaning you have to comment all the time, be at the meetings every single time, and go preaching door to door every single time. If you don't, you're considered irregular. And once you are irregular, it means you stop going to the meetings, and therefore you end up becoming inactive, which is the best thing ever.
Oh yeah, that's can
That is
save a life
that
inactive.
is better than disassociation, better than disfellowshipping, better than being reproved. It is better than actually going to the kingdom. it's
It's slipping out the back, Jack.
That's what happened to me. That's what I did. So
Just slipping under the radar, like doo, 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 doo.
I went inactive, moved to a different congregation before I was ousted, and I basically made a whole new name for myself in the English congregation, who
Okay.
don't know me at all, but they still think I'm a good person because my ministerial servant cards were sent over. So till this day, they still think I could be a ministerial servant, I just haven't showed up, so they text me once in a while, and they're like, "Yo, um,
Don't be coy, Roy. I love
I
that.
must."
That's great. So they're looking at their cards like, who can we promote? Oh,
Right,
this
right.
MJ sounds really good. Oh, where's MJ? He's an apostate.
Oh my gosh. You know, I got an invite to it's like it's funny because the invite that I got, it was an evite to my phone and it says JW Friends Meetup. I'm like, here we go again with the damn friends. And there
They're
was
friends.
literally 101 people. And I got invited to that. And I got invited like I'd say a month, 2 months ago. And I'm like, wow, they really don't know that I am a nasty apostate on YouTube.
You're so nasty. You
Oh my
nasty.
god, I'm the worst.
You dirty little birdie.
I'm a bad guy. So we have weak spiritually. Oh man, that is probably okay. So this is the best thing that you can be as a witness, as an ex witness. Sorry, it's a bad thing as a witness. But then what makes it even worse is someone who is spiritually weak. You can be inactive and still have some type of faith because being inactive means you're just depressed. You just don't want to face certain people. But then when you're weak spiritually, that is the worst of the worst. They will send an army to your
Oh
house to try to
God.
gain you, to bring you back and
The
try to,
texting, the
yes,
voicemails, the hunting people down. I have
yeah.
read stories on Reddit and on TikTok, listen to people's, tell what happened to them where a brother was like chasing them down,
Oh
taking
my gosh.
photos, sending the photos to them. Were you here? Who were you here with? It is creepy. It is
Yeah.
beyond like
They
disgusting.
they will show up anywhere. I used to work at McDonald's and I was technically inactive, but they didn't know if I was spiritually weak or not because I was very shy back then. And so I'm working drive through and I kept like first of all, I got fat at McDonald's because I would sneak in nuggets, chicken nuggets every time I walked past. So if there was no cars, best believe I was going down to grab me a damn nugget. So so I was making my way down to the freaking fryer to grab me a nugget and swallow it down and get fat. So I'm getting this nugget, and every time I would turn around, I'd see like this black circle. I have there was this ice cream machine and then like the mocha machine and there was this space in between and this black circle will always show up and I'm like, what the freak is that? So and it was far, so I'm like, I would just ignore it until eventually I see whiteness and it was a smile. This black brother would always check me out and just this would happen like randomly. He's just checking on me to make sure I'm not doing anything stupid, anything
He's just like
bad,
hiding.
and just making sure that I'm doing good spiritually. He would wait, one time would wait until I was done with my shift to come up to me, be like, "Hey, man, I haven't seen you in the meetings. How are you? Like,
What in
can you
the
come? Are you okay? Do you need any assistance?" Like, that's how creepy these people are. When you're spiritually weak or you're considered spiritually weak, or they don't even know and they're speculating, they will do anything. They would stalk you, like Ryan was saying. They will send you emails and send letters to your house. They will call you. They're that nosy, and it's pretty scary.
it is? It's very invasive. And I think it also shows you how it's a self-reporting organization
Mm-hmm.
that people are meant to tell on one another.
Mm-hmm.
Again, even though they're spiritual family, you don't trust them.
No.
You're looking for their downfall. You're looking for their spiritual weakness
Yep.
in order to. I don't know if it's to fix or to help or to expose
Yeah.
because I think for each individual JW, it's different.
Oh, that's too red. Yeah, I don't know whether or not if like sometimes you don't know if they're genuine, if they're being genuine,
Mm-mm.
or if it's just because, especially for an elder, if you're an elder or a ministerial servant, I don't know if they're doing it for bragging rights, like to just brag about that they're in a position to do that type of stuff and just to accumulate points for the congregation or for the elder. Because
I don't know.
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if
You're a
they're being
rat.
genuine.
I think
The
as a
rats.
rat, You think
Yeah.
you're doing a good job. You're doing what
Hmm.
the that you're supposed to do as a little worker bee. You're supposed to stay busy. And
Yes, baby.
like Dan D said, that brother was probably writing down in the book that he saw you snacking at the Mickey D's.
Yeah, they will any little thing they snitch and they gossip about you and they'll bring you to the back room and talk to you about it. And this is the thing, people. I have it here? Do I have judicial committee? Did I write it down? Yeah, I wrote it down somewhere. Here it is.
Oh yeah, judicial committee people
So
would. Ugh.
they'll if it's serious, you'll get a judicial committee. If it's not serious, do you know what it's called? If it's just like a talk or like a
Oh, a
pep talk.
shepherding call.
Shepherding call, yes. For those of you who don't know what shepherding call is, they'll visit your house if they think you're becoming spiritually weak. If they're not doing the stalking first already, then they'll do the shepherding call. But with the shepherding call, what sucked about the shepherding call is it was always random. Was it random when you're in your time as a witness?
I do think that they did have some random ones back in my day, but a
Yeah,
lot of
like
them were scheduled as well.
okay, okay. In the Spanish community, they are unannounced.
Oh,
It's very random. They just
dang.
show up. It's always two brothers that will just show up to talk to you about how you suck as a witness. And
You're not doing enough.
but when you do something real serious, then it's considered the judicial committee where it has to at least be three. I've seen four before, but it has to be at least three. And that's when they you have to be very descriptive with these brothers. You got to tell them how long was your orgasm?
Right.
Where did you nut? Was it
Yep.
on the pillow?
Mm,
Was it in a sock?
right.
Was it on a napkin?
Did somebody eat it?
Did somebody? Yes, you have to be very descriptive with these brothers. And if you're a sister, you might as well like
Oh God, bury yourself in a
bury
hole.
yourself.
Not gonna lie. That forever changed me as a human being. It really did break a part of me as a human, like having to
Hmm.
answer those questions as a teenager.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Pretty much, it sucked. And I want to end it with these two. So you have talk and part. So talk is basically a speech, right?
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you would consider Donald Trump giving a speech. You would say, oh look, he's giving a talk. But that's specifically more of a JW thing that they do. And then you have parts. And then I never understood when I heard the word sermon. I was like, what the freak is a sermon? Well, I'm sorry for the talk, right? I'm like, what the hell is a sermon?
Right.
I didn't know what that was, and I always thought that was demonic. Like I thought it was a bad thing. Like, oh, he's giving a sermon. Oh, he's in the name of the Father, the Son, I thought that was bad.
I think that Jehovah's Witnesses almost do give it a little more ritualistic connotation.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it
yeah,
almost makes it seem bad because it's ritualistic and we have to be careful about participating in things like that. Da, da,
which
da.
is weird because Jehovah's Witnesses are they're all about ritualism, if
Oh
that
God,
even
yeah.
is a word. Because you have the memorial service. That's all ritual right there.
Yeah. Mhm.
It is extremely ritual. And then you have part, and then this is where again the slavery comes in because you're not even considered to have a, s- a you can't have some high status in in the congregation. So when you're doing something, when you're participating, that's kind of I guess that's why they say part because it's like you're participating. I don't know,
Yeah.
but when you have a part in the congregation, that's you getting privileges to do something to give a speech, and they don't even acknowledge that you took the time to sacrifice your time to prepare yourself to give a speech in front of
Mhm.
a bunch of people. They don't consider that as something so great, and so they just consider it as it's just a part. It's part of your duty as a witness. That's basically what it is.
Yeah, but it is, right? But when you really think about it, it's like volunteer work because
Yeah.
you're putting in the effort and then you're having to volunteer your time to educate, oops, I just hit my mic, to quote unquote, let's say,
Hmm.
educate the masses.
Yeah.
Now, if this were an actual education, if you were teaching people how to patch a hole in a wall or build a house or whatever it was, that would be amazing. I would consider that very helpful to many different families, but the education that you're imparting onto people is the same rhetoric that's recycled over and over again.
Yeah. It's it's very
Fluff.
pathetic. It's very pathetic the way they everything is organized. It's just not the way you would expect a religious organization to act or behave.
Hmm. It's
Um,
busy work organization.
it's yeah, and not even a business. And then the thing is, it's considered a business, but even in a business, people with like the corporate ladder, they're all well respected. It doesn't matter who you are, but it's when it comes to the kingdom hall and the congregation, the ministerial servants and the elders are the most praised unless you're a pioneer. If you're a pioneer, then it's like you have to be a regular pioneer because if you're an auxiliary pioneer, oh yeah, you get the claps or whatever. But then they're like, okay, so when are you gonna do regular pioneering?
Mm-hmm.
When are you gonna get? When are you gonna move up to that?
Right.
Everything you do is downgraded. I mean, you're I don't know a technical term to call someone who diminishes someone in that sense. But that's what they do all the time. And then yeah, these are just terms. Again, I'm gonna put all these terms in the description, so we don't go through all of them. I like how they say other sheep. I don't I don't understand why. Um, it's basically that's what it is. All non-anointed JW. So again, you're not special. And when we were talking about the memorial service, those of who can only partake of the bread and the wine are only considered ones who are anointed or part of the 144,000. And then everyone else in the congregation is just freaking sheep, and they
Yep.
call them other sheep. They don't even say just sheep. They're like,
That
yeah, those
carries
other
to me
dudes.
such a negative connotation,
Yeah.
but to them, they think it's a good word.
Yes, there's a lot of words here that they think are good, like new light, like we were talking about earlier. How it's and it's stemmed from Proverbs 14:15, which has nothing to do with new light, and it has nothing to do with, you know,
Shocker.
yeah, exactly. It's shocker, because what that scripture really talks about is the path of an unrighteous person to a righteous person. If the person who's unrighteous finds a new path to be a better person, then it's like a light coming in, and yeah, I'm not gonna go through it, but yeah, you get the freaking gist of it.
We get the drift.
Yeah. So anyway, and then that's it. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, headship. Oh man, this hurts all the women.
Yeah, headship is a. I mean, I do think that that's a word that's used by many of the cults. That's not a JDub specific
Mm-hmm.
word. I've used that in other lingo as well, but it does indeed hurt women, and it hurts men too. Just as not just
It's
as much, but it isn't good for men. They just don't realize it because they think that they're getting something special, but they're all just kissing the ass of the man.
Yeah, it's very it's stressful as a man too because you always got to live up to that
Yeah.
title. It doesn't matter if you're depressed or stressed out. Like you have to always provide. You have to always be there spiritually. There's no time for you as a man. It's like you're constantly working, working, working for your family, and it's very
You're
stressful for our
expected
men
to
too.
say yes.
Always,
You
always.
if there is a privilege, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you use that word and
Mm-hmm.
it has a positive connotation. If I'm offering you a privilege, MJ, what kind of person are you who would deny me and who would deny that spiritual privilege?
And yeah, exactly. And you know what? The witnesses, they're all about marriage. They're all about headship, all about organization. And I truly believe the way they teach headship actually backfires and destroys families.
Agreed.
And I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna give you a great example. I'm gonna give you mine. My marriage failed because of the word headship. Um, After everything that happened, and with I'm not gonna go into details, but I had to leave. But I was more of the reason why my ex-wife was the way she was, and it was because whenever she was spiritually weak and wasn't doing enough, I was on her ass about it. I didn't give her enough room to breathe. And that's the problem with being ahead because you want to make sure you're doing everything right for Jehovah. And she didn't like it. And then I ended up not liking myself. And that ruins families.
Yeah.
Then you're like you're becoming somebody that you're not. And you're trying
Right.
to live up to someone that you're not. You're trying to imitate or become someone that the organization is trying to push on you and you end up not liking yourself and you end up doing more damage than good.
Right. And I think part of that also too, MJ, is because of that self-reporting system that we mentioned earlier. If you are not up her butt, it reflects poorly on you.
Exactly.
If she is spiritually weak, well, MJ, what's going on in your family life? Are you taking responsibility? Are you leading with prayer? Are
Mm-hmm.
you having your
Yep.
daily Bible study? They're just going to go down a laundry list
And
of what you're possibly lacking in your relationship.
that's why it was so hard for me because my ex-wife would always hang out with her mom who was disfellowshipped for like 20 something years
Mm.
and go clubbing with her and then that would go out that would come out on Facebook and whatever and I was always the one being attacked. Nobody looked at her or asked her any questions. It's just like, why are you letting your wife go out at night? Why are you letting her do this? Why are you letting her do that?
Right.
Little do they know,
Letting.
I'm at home arguing, telling her not to go. So, that's like, it's annoying.
Hmm.
Um, and then we have these terms which are very evil. Jesus never used this fellowship, nor disassociation.
Nope.
Um,
Not in his
these
vocab.
are this fellowship just means that you are well. Let's read it. The most serious JW punishment: a JW who is excommunicated form from the faith, um, and whatever the hell I wrote there. Active JWs are instructed to shun disfellowship persons, and so the thing is, in order for someone to be disfellowship, right? And to be shunned and to be rejected and ostracized is if only you are baptized as a member, as a Jehovah's Witnesses. See, nobody's a Jehovah's Witnesses right from the get go. You could be a Bible student, you could be someone who goes regularly, you can end up becoming an unbaptized publisher, but you're never considered a Jehovah's Witness until you are baptized. And that's when and I remember back in the day when they would disfellowship someone, they wouldn't just say, like now they say, such and such is no longer a Jehovah's Witness. Back then, it used to be such and such is disfellowshipped. The real privilege came when someone didn't show up to give their talk and they asked you because you were so good.
Or you just fit the bill because you were there.
Yeah,
Either
exactly.
one. Either one.
Um, I remember, man, I remember I wasn't the type of person that wouldn't show up, but I was the person that would never practice or study.
Fly
And
by the seat
sometimes I
of
was
your
also the
pants.
guy that didn't know that I had a part. So I would remember hearing my name, like, oh yeah, such and such is reading this chapter. I'm like, oh snap. And I would go up there and read, and I once I hear my name, I would blank, like I would space out, so I wouldn't know what verses that I was assigned to. So I would read the whole chapter.
Oopsies.
I remember brother caught on that, and like after you get off stage, they tell you what you did wrong or what you could improve on, and he would literally flat out said, "You didn't study, did you? You just read the whole chapter," and
How'd you
I'm
guess?
just like nodding. Um, but yeah, you're disfellowshipped, and disfellowship only happens when you are in a judicial committee. Which, by the way, when you're in the judicial committee, you get no. Let's say you committed a sin, you cannot bring any notes with you to back up to prove you're innocent. You can't bring an audio device to record the meeting, which is completely weird. Because when you go to court and you're faced before the judge, you have somebody who's recording your conversation, who brings notes and basically what's that called, evidence. You can't do that in the judicial committee, and then right there and then they decide whether you're guilty or not, and it does not have to do the Holy Spirit. They'll still consider you guilty, but that's it. And then there's disassociating, which is basically the same exact thing. You're just leaving, and even if you just leave on your own accord, like you just want to do nothing with the Jehovah's Witnesses, you're still considered disfellowshipped, which is stupid. And like you then your entire community is gone, your family is no longer talking to you, blah blah blah.
Yep.
But anyway, this is all lingo. I'm gonna leave it in the description for you guys to look at if you want to, and study it if you want to study it. You don't really have to, but in case somebody comes up to you and asks you, like, "Hey, what does this word mean? What is that word?" And you just say, "Well, my boy MJ,"
He
and just
told me.
he told me. Um, yeah, and these are if you want somebody to if somebody's coming up to you to ask you, hey, what does this mean? It's because they're interested in the Jehovah's Witnesses. So in order for you to get them away from the Jehovah's Witnesses, just teach them these two abbreviations, and then they'll definitely leave. They'll definitely never ever go back. Just tell them, hey, Google ARC and Google CSA, and you'll be fine.
Right. Right. There you go. That might break the rest of the JW coded language if you can just get outside of that. Like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold up. That was
Um.
really good, MJ. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah. Yeah. I try. I was trying my best.
You did your best. You did very good. Very
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Lots of lingo that we have to dissect and understand so that way we can move on from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as we, some words we start to forget, that's probably a good thing that it doesn't still incite that trigger with us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I hope we
Um,
didn't depress
I,
everybody today. Jeez.
I know, right? If there's anything else you want to put, you mean you go right ahead. If not, or we can just.
I think that was really good. How do you guys feel? Did you have any questions? Was there anything that you think we missed, or any words that you think we should mention? We'd be remiss if we did not mention.
Yeah. We do have those. I do have them on here. They're right here actually. They were abbreviations to. So Wild Wall telling us that we have like the GB is the governing body, which is the leaders of the organization. We have the district overseer, which is abbreviated into DO. These guys are just people
Circuit
who oversee
overseer.
a different uh, part of territory, I guess. And That's where you get your assemblies, where you get your circuit assembly, your district assembly, and these guys like oversee all that. And then, so the circuit assembly would be the circuit overseer. But then again, circuit overseers are, they come what 6 months at a time, or every 6 months or something like that. They come,
I don't even remember.
and they're basically going to be your overseer for that circuit assembly. So basically, when you have a circuit assembly, like that's going to be your main guy who gives the main talks at the assembly. He's Jesus, and when he comes
Right.
around, he
Yeah.
comes around every 6 months or so.
Their words are
Um,
directly from God.
yep, yep. And then you have the body of elders, BOE, or just elders. What is SAD?
Huh. So, yeah, that one I didn't know. The other two I did know, but the SAD I don't know.
What is SAD? Sad.
Very sad.
um, I feel like I know this. Special
Oh,
auxiliary,
Special Assembly
special.
Day.
Yeah.
Why is it sad? Like, did they really have to pick that acronym? Like, Lord Jesus.
Special
You could have
Assembly
put
Day.
like Day of Special Assembly or something. Instead of
I didn't know I don't know what is that. I knew it as just Special Assembly, which is a
yeah,
one
special.
day,
Same.
and it was Saturday, right? It was on a Saturday only.
I don't know. I
I don't
want to
remember,
forget.
but anyway, let's get out of this treachery.
Yes, please. Can we stop with this, you
Let's
guys?
get
Gosh,
like
why are you
like
punishing
oh my
me?
god.
Don't you care about me and my feelings? No, this was a really great show. I think it's eye-opening. I think it's important that we discuss how they use this language to kind of trick us into thinking that we're something special, doing something special when it truly is
Mm-hmm.
just fruitless, busy work.
Yep.
Yep.
Yepers.
Yepers. Okay. Well, do you know what next week is about?
I do not, but let's go into our YouTube and figure that out. Let's go to Apostate Coalition, you guys, and find that out. You can
What are those weirdos on AC doing?
Oh, look, I had it right here.
The CO is a correction officer.
What?
That's probably CO means correction officer. Probably is more likely
Pretty much, right?
closer to it.
So Apostate Coalition. Look at this scary zombie. So we're gonna go to video live, and look at we have 10 episodes lined up, you guys.
Ooh,
We're
ooh,
right now on 3.
we're
We're gonna be
live.
going to 4, which is next Monday. Um, like the witnesses when you're in the Kingdom Hall and you're presiding or conducting, and then the conductor goes and says, "Would you like to read this, sister?" I'm gonna tell that to you. Would you like to read this, Sister
Oh,
Ryan?
I'd love to. Oh, please give me some kind of privilege. Makes
What
me
is
feel like
it?
I'm special.
What's episode 4, sister?
You might have to actually click it so I can see better.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's just a little small for my little baby eyes. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Oh, idyllic Eden. Ooh, the allegory that changed the world. And I do
Ooh.
believe that. I stand by that that damn allegory has truly messed up the balance of the world between different genders, sexes, all that kind of stuff.
And go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's it. So I'm hoping that y'all can bring your ideas of what you think the Garden of Eden means. Is it a literal story? Is it an allegory? Is it a metaphor? What does it mean? I'm gonna give you what I think it means. MJ, I'd love to know what you mean.
Hmm.
What you mean, what you think. And
I
yeah, that's our next topic. I'm excited, guys.
I believe Wild Wall will enjoy that, considering our conversation last night.
Oh, good.
Um,
Sweet.
so that'll be interesting for him. And I think that is all. Yes, for
That's it.
me. That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Everyone, put your deuces up.
Echoes of the
It goes.
past.
It's got to be like this, though. It's not. This is gangster. I don't like gangster. I like
Oh,
this. Well, you can do it, Ryan. I mean, that's fine.
are you so
Whatever. Whatever. Don't put the tongue in between. That's just wrong.
that means something different?
I do that to my wife a lot. I'll be like, hey,
Well, that you should do that to your wife.
yes, it makes her
On
happy.
that note,
All right, guys.
goodbye.
Much love. Bye, Wild
Out.
Wall. Bye,